Tour Stories / The Check-In is made possible by our friends over at iZotope. You know iZotope, and you know they are the best in audio repair, mixing, mastering, and general audio magic, like removing the heater sound that's going on right now. Thank you, Spectral Denoise. Head over to iZotope.com for frequent deals on plugins for audio restoration, mixing, mastering, and more. That's iZotope.com. I am super psyched to welcome our newest sponsor, Kuma Coffee. Kuma Coffee is a 100% independently owned roasting company right here in Seattle since 2008. Kuma is a 5-person team roasting over 100,000 pounds of exclusively high-scoring coffee each year. They source their coffees direct from origin and pay well over fair trade pricing to farmers. This guarantees the highest quality while supporting rural farming communities throughout the global south. And here's the kicker. They just launched an instant coffee. I travel a lot. I've tried tons of instant coffee, and Kuma is the best. It saves my buns in the morning, in the afternoon, and quite often before a show. Find their coffees at kumacoffee.com. That's KUMACOFFEE.com. Tour Stories is supported by the great DistroKid. As you know, DistroKid connects direct to TikTok with exclusive access to your TikTok artist account. What's new at DistroKid? You can do unlimited instant mastering. You can distribute your music videos. And the newest, greatest thing, Bandzoogle, where you can build a website and a store in minutes. And of course, they have an app, which is a delight to post new songs and get paid. Tour Story listeners get 30% off at distrokid.com/VIP/Tour Stories. DistroKid. Get your music out there. Alden, what's happening?
Hi.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. Thanks so much for having me.
Of course. I'm psyched on this record. Where are you right now?
I'm in Brooklyn. Yeah, that's where I'm based currently.
Did you grow up in New York?
No, I grew up in Hartford, Connecticut, super close by.
Yeah. How long you been in Brooklyn?
I moved originally in 2017 and lived here until like the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started moving everywhere. I went to Europe for a year, and then I went to LA for a bit and did grad school, and now I'm back, and I came back in the fall of this year.
All right. You happy to be there, settling in Brooklyn?
Yeah, very happy. It feels like home. And there's just so much happening all the time. Like it's really inspiring, and I know that's what everybody says, but it's so
Yeah.
true. Like you have to force yourself to stay home some nights. Like it's just there's too much good like music happening every night.
I'm jealous of that. I'm in Seattle, which is not a dead town by any means, but it's not quite as lively.
No, Seattle's great. Do you know about the Goodbye Look out there?
No, please tell me.
They're an amazing little organization that's putting on really, really cool jazz shows.
Okay.
And we just played one in, when was that, March? Yeah, it's really, really fun. And what they're doing is like really, really special. And they get a lot of like experimental music or yeah, it's just a lot of fun.
That's great. You grew up in Hartford. What was that like? Were you playing music? Have you been studying music since you were a youngster?
Yeah. I picked up the saxophone in elementary school in school band.
Mm-hmm.
I originally wanted to play the trombone. And then my friend told me that she was going to pick saxophone, and I was like, well, I guess I'll pick it too. She showed up the first day of band with a trombone.
Ah,
It was really heartbreaking, and I had my saxophone, but I think it really, like, something in the universe did its thing because saxophone was totally my instrument, and I got super into playing it, and I just, like, my mom loves to say, like, I used to, like, come home from school and, like, go practice in my room, and play my little songs and stuff, and, yeah, so I just fell in love with the instrument, and then when I was going to high school, I applied for an arts high school, and there was a small classical program, but there also was a very great jazz program there. Because Hartford has a great little community of jazz musicians that was started by Jackie McLean,
Hmm.
with like the Artist Collective in downtown Hartford. Him and his wife Dolly started this program in the 70s, I think. And Jackie also started the college program at the University of Hartford as well. So, anyway, yeah, there's an amazing little community of musicians there. And when I got in, they accepted me for jazz. And at the time, I kind of didn't really, I wasn't super involved and hadn't like discovered the passion for it yet, but I did love like big band music.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember there was like this moment where my mom took me to Best Buy and let me pick out three jazz CDs,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
like from the jazz collection of Best Buy. And I just randomly picked like a compilation of Charlie Parker and a Lou Donaldson record. And I forget what the third is now. But I definitely loved the Lou Donaldson and the Charlie Parker record enough that it like I downloaded it on my little iPod,
Yeah.
and I was like in eighth grade or ninth grade, and I was listening to Confirmation like, and it like brought on these feelings of like how I don't understand how they're doing this with their instruments
Yeah.
because I play that instrument and I have no idea how to sound like that. But there was like this very like magical sort of thing when I listened to it that really drew me in. And then around like my junior year, something really connected in my brain for my own playing. And I just like fell in love with improvising
Uh-huh.
and playing music. And I was like, yeah, I love this.
Yeah. I remember I have a similar story with CDs. One of the first CDs I ever bought was Love Supreme. And it was such a magical experience. I was probably just old enough to almost get it with a lot of questions unanswered with that delivery of sound and music. But my God, what a record. What an
Yeah.
experience.
No, that's exactly it. It's like this, you don't understand it, but there's something that like pulls you in this really like magic. It feels very
It does.
magical, you know?
Yeah.
And I felt that way listening to Coltrane for the first time as well when I was like a little bit older. I think it took me a little bit more to like understand and wrap my head around Coltrane, but especially like his later stuff. But when it hits, it
Yeah,
hits.
it really does. Also, thanks to Elvin Jones. I'm a drummer, so
Yes.
he's the man. Um,
There you go.
were you listening to pop music or punk music or anything else when you were young? Or were you jazzing it up primarily?
Yeah, I never went through like my era was like the Blink
Hmm.
182, like that whole group, because I was in high school in like what 2010, 2011. And so that was like prime, that pop punk
Yeah,
time, but I never actually got into that sort of thing. I really liked Avril Lavigne when I was like
yeah.
younger. And I think what resonated a lot with me was like when I found Deerhoof, like
Okay.
in my later high school
All right.
years, you know, and I was like, whoa, this is something else entirely. And I think for me, like that, I found that magical thing in like rock and pop and like it doesn't matter really the genre when I'm listening to it.
Hmm.
It's like if I find that thing that we're talking about, that like magical unanswered, unexpected sort of thing that happens in music. And I think Deerhoof like did that just
Yeah,
so like that music is so the choices are so special
there.
and like so interesting and the production, the writing, like everything about that. And I remember it truly like it was one of those like mind-blowing
Hmm.
experiences. Yeah.
Well, you should be proud of yourself because you've done that with your new record, Tether. I mean,
Oh,
it
thank
is
you.
an incredible record. I was so psyched to hear it and now talk to you. It
Thank you so
of
much.
course and it's a follow up to Good Intentions, which is also a really beautiful record. Uh, but Tether takes a little bit of a turn, and with a jagged, maybe slightly aggressive turn. And it's just such a great experience. I mean, I really follow each moment, and again, incredible choices. I hear Ornette a little bit, and I hear like Bitches Baru texture-wise, and I want to talk about texture in a little bit. But it has this energy, punk energy, and maybe like John Lurie or maybe John Zorn, two New York Johns, and Deerhoof. It's got that crazy, wonderful energy to it that is, it's not chill, and I love it that it's not chill. It's really like nothing I've heard. And coming from Good Intentions, which I would say, compared to Tether, has some lush qualities. And this takes quite a turn. What inspired that? Where were you at when you started working on these?
Yeah, so I was in grad school and I was in the Herbie Hancock Institute. Amazing program, amazing mentors,
Is that in
and
LA?
yeah, it's at UCLA. Um, and my walk from the school was about 30 minutes. And I would go to the school every day, even if we didn't have rehearsal or classes, like to go practice. And I would usually stay until the building closed. So I would be walking like alone at 12:30 in the morning, 1 o'clock in the morning, like, and I'd have 30 minutes to just listen to whatever I wanted and like really listen, you
Yeah.
know? And it was kind of like, it was very meditative. It was like my little routine. And I started going back into like what I was into before. And Deerhoof was actually one of the ones that like I played I think it's breakup songs. Yeah. I played that record, like, and I don't know, something about that magical thing happened again where I suddenly felt like really inspired by that music. And then at the same time, I don't know, I think I was just feeling, I started to I found a video of, I think I'm going to butcher their name, but Otoboke Beaver, which is this amazing Japanese punk band. And I found them about the same time. And so what I was listening to was this like crazy intense music, which is then cut by me going to class the next day and playing like not straight ahead jazz, but like, you know, jazz. And
Yeah.
like, and it was just like this like two different sides of me, it felt like at the time. And then yeah, I think that really inspired like all of the writing and in the end, and was listening to those bands at that moment in time. And then also when the project started, Miller Wren, who's in I always get this wrong, the right side. I have them hard panned, similar to
Yeah.
like some Ornette stuff. He went to Cal Arts and he's like more involved in the improvised music scene. And he asked me to be part of a bill at Non Plus Ultra in downtown LA. I don't know if you're
Yeah.
familiar. It's like a really cool DIY space, very funky. And I was thinking at the time, like, what am I going to do for this show? And then he told me that Logan was also going to do his like solo bass project, which is electric bass. And Logan is insane. Like he's an insane bass player, upright and electric. And I was like, wow, these two bands that I'm on this bill with are doing something crazy. Like, what do I do? And then I don't know. I was like, why not? I have both of them and do a chordless quartet with two basses. And because then I started hearing stuff for two basses and like it totally changed how I started writing. And then like I think also the fact that the show was at Non Plus like defined this idea that I had for the band, because I was like, okay, if we're gonna do two basses, we're gonna go hard and we're gonna do some like punk. Like I want to make a record like Otoboke Beaver in like the jazz world, and I want to get into like my extended technique stuff and like I guess like let some shit out.
Yeah. And you all are. It's you left it all there in the studio. And I kind of want to go back to texture a little bit, because it seems as well with Good Intentions, whether it's the player's attack or maybe mic placement, or as you said, some panning or mixing moves, there's just such significant texture, especially on Tether. How does that play a role in your composition?
Yeah, I mean, writing for two basses is so different, and specifically those two basses, because like truly that music is written with them in mind, like completely, like, and it's just like really unique. I mean, some of the stuff I definitely wrote just sort of like as this piece, and then it ended up working really well with two pieces
Yeah.
basses, but I would say probably like 70% of the songs are written specifically for this exact band. And that's how I wrote for the last project as well, Good Intentions. But I think, that just like the way that that band sounded and those people and who they are, and it's like you're writing for those people. And Logan is truly like one of the most insane bass players, and then Miller is also insane in his own right, like making all these noises and stuff. And so when you have those two people in front of you, it's like there's like so much textural to work with already.
Yeah.
And then the instrumentation itself is like so unique texturally because it's like all bottom.
Yeah, gotcha.
And yeah, and then also I have a pretty dark sound,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, so it was like it's a pretty dark record,
Yeah, it is.
like
Yeah.
sonically. And then even when I was going in and I was going to add all of these electronics and stuff afterwards, and I had some friends help me out, it didn't feel like it totally balanced it out, Like it's still very bottom heavy. Like
Yeah.
the whole record is like booming, which I kind of love.
Yeah. And kind of back to when I said I hear a little bitches brew, because there's Echoplex on, and John McLaughlin's playing Echoplex, and there's all kinds of weird edits and stuff, and background noise and ambience, and I hear a lot of that on this record. I hear, I think, some actual human voices here and there, and a bunch of things I don't even know what's going on, but and it's sometimes it's in the left, and it's just a composition in itself, the layout and the mix. What is the instrumentation?
Yeah, so most of it is just the two basses hard panned.
Okay.
And then Justin is in the middle, which I haven't even mentioned him yet, but Justin Brown is one of the greatest drummers alive.
Yes,
like
he sure is.
point blank. And I think him on this record was just so perfect. He's a very special musician. But yeah, so I think he's in the middle, but he's also spread a lot, and there's a lot of textures happening acoustically in the kit. But then there's trumpet on a few tracks. There's a little bit of acoustic piano. And then my friend Sharda Shashater, amazing vocalist, songwriter, came in and did a bunch of effects with her voice and live effects, because she has an amazing pedal board for fakers. And then I had a friend, Caleb Buchanan, play a little bit of guitar and just make some metal-y noise for me for supply chain. And then I ended up going back in. I edited Sharda's as well, but I went back in and I manipulated Caleb's guitar's effects, and did a ton of post-production myself and played with panning across it on supply chain. And then I had a friend that I had met through a random gig that lives in Colombia named Hannah. She goes by Haana Lee, Hannah Lee. And she is an amazing effects sonic sound artist. And she processed microfictions. She processed the saxophone, she processed the bass, she processed the track itself, and she did a little bit of voice too, but mostly it's just this processing on processing, and it's analog because she has a pedal. And I was like, whoa, that's something I don't even know anything about, but she created all those insane textures that are happening where it's feedbacking on itself and stuff, but with the track that we did, which I thought was so cool.
It's that explains it all. I'll have a new experience listening, knowing all this stuff. I'd like to play Face the Wall.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. That's so great. Um,
Thank you, thank you.
Also listening to this record, because I come from kind of a rock background, I think of my playing as just, it's fine. But I envy improvisers and free players. Can you sort of paint a picture of tracking? How do these tunes start when you're in the studio? Are you hitting play and just looking at each other and going, let's go?
Yeah, so we isolated everybody. I got the big room, which was really
Mm-hmm.
fun because there's like so much natural reverb, and the UCLA recording studio is beautiful. And our recording engineer, like, beyond killed it. Her name is Lauda. It sounded so good even without like mixing and everything. But we had Miller and Logan in two different rooms. And so I had to be like really big about cues because a lot of this music is
Right.
cue based, which was funny and definitely a little bit uncomfortable. But I think they're so intuitive. Like all of them are such intuitive improvisers that like sometimes I didn't even have to like do the big physical cue
Mm-hmm.
because they just felt it. They understood that it was happening in that moment. And I like music. I like writing music that allows for that, where there's like decisions that can be made. And if you really get to know each other, which I had because we had played a couple of gigs, not more than a couple, we played 4 or 5 throughout from November 2024 to when we recorded the record in June 2025. And so they knew the music and they also just like understood me and understood each other. And yeah, it just all made sense and in the studio and everything kind of happened perfectly.
And did you, I have to ask this, when you did some of those big cues, anything embarrassing? If you look back on it, were you like freaking out ever?
No, we definitely had to do some redos though, because I'm also someone that gets so like into the music that sometimes I forget to cue,
Yeah.
and then it'll be too late and it's like I'm like so focused on my like part,
Yeah.
and then but yeah, it was pretty in general like yeah, we did some like a few overdubs, but like nothing major at all because they're all amazing musicians and I think also that like sort of imperfection of it all
Of
is
course.
kind of beautiful.
Yeah. Since tracking, have you played shows with this team?
Yeah, we did a short tour in March. We went to Seattle and Portland and Eugene. And then we're going to be doing more shows in September. But I also, it's kind of special because like I just did a show on Wednesday here in New York with different musicians with the same
Mm-hmm.
setup. And it's really interesting to hear other people play the music.
Yeah, that's what I'm curious about that. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm based in New York now, so I can't fly Miller and Logan, and Justin's obviously always busy, so he's always on tour. So yeah, it's hard to get us all together, but I think that's like the beauty of this music is that it does work in so many different contexts and with different musicians. And I really appreciate like what other musicians have to bring. I'm not really like tied to what we made in the studio as being like that's like a moment and a beautiful moment. And then this music can kind of grow and expand. And I played a show in January where we played all of this music, but with not with two basses, just with like traditional quintet quartet
Oh,
setup, and it
amazing.
worked
Yeah.
and it was amazing, and that was with my band from Good Intentions, and it was so different but also like still so magical. And I think I'm really proud of myself that the writing like really speaks for itself in all these different contexts, and I think that's like really important. And I'm gonna be doing a bunch of shows this summer with like the more traditional quartet,
Okay.
yeah, which is but this music and some like newer stuff. And I mean, Yvonne is Rogers is the pianist that I play with in New York, and she's one of my like dear friends. We met in Europe actually, but she's from Maine originally, and yeah, she's an amazing improviser, and like she really brings something like totally unique to the music as well. So it's like you're not missing the two bass
Right.
thing.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on this record. It's like, again, I can't say enough about it. It's incredible. And
Thank you so
I
much.
hope I get to see some version of it someday.
Yeah. No, we'll be back in Seattle for
Okay.
sure with the original band. I think that would be really fun.
Are your shows in New York this summer?
Yes, I'm doing a release show on July 22nd. I'm playing in Philadelphia at Ars Nova on June 20th, right before the record comes out. And then I'm doing a European tour, just a short little one, Basel, Frankfurt. I'm playing North Sea Jazz Festival in Rotterdam, and then Berlin, and then Italy.
All right. That's going to be
Yeah.
fun. Have you toured much in Europe?
A little bit from when I lived out there, but yeah. No, this is my first time as a leader, which is
All right.
really fun.
Those are all great places. Well, I might be out in the East Coast when you're playing, so I'll show up at your shows if I can. I really
Oh,
would
you
love to see
definitely
it. Yeah.
should. Yeah, we're gonna do the definitely gonna do the two bass configuration for like the big release show on July
All
22nd.
right.
So
All right. I'll
yeah,
look for it. Um, it's great to meet you, and
great to
thanks
meet
for making this
you.
record on behalf of the world.
Thank you for
Of
listening.
course.
It really, as an artist, it's like really special when people resonate with your work. And I really was excited about this record when I was like making it and then in the post-production and then, it's been like a little bit of time, but then now that it's being released and I'm getting feedback, I'm like, yeah, that feels like really powerful. And like, it's like, this is what I made the record for,
Yes.
It's like,
Wonderful. That's great. All right. Well, take care of yourself, and when you get traveling, travel safe.
thank
All
you.
right.
Thanks so much for
Of
listening.
course. Take care.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.